Hello, everybody. It's old Barry and Mrs. Bear. Hello, everybody. It's old Barry and Mrs. Bear. We're starting a little early so everybody can get in, and we got we're here for y'all to answer questions tonight. Ask your questions, and we'll try to answer them. Now, here is the thing: you have to put all of your question in capital letters. So you have to hit cap locks and ask your questions. And we're going to give everybody about 7 minutes or so to everybody gets in here. And so let's go through some hellos. Hi, how you doing, Roxanne? Hector Rubio, glad to see you. Ruben Moran, glad to see you too. You're from Michigan. You got any Bigfoot stories? Kathleen, glad to see you. Parkway, glad to see you. Barry, glad to see you also. Linda, glad you could make it. I don't know about rocking an eye patch, hon. I don't rock anything. You ain't got no picture, Hector. Log out and come back in. Hey, Light Dweller, how you doing? Tom, glad to see you, buddy. Nicole, glad to see you. You're from Kentucky. Is that anywhere near the Daniel Boone National Forest? If it is, don't go in the forest at night. Hey, we got James from Oregon. Richard from Richard Elmore, Yelm, Washington. I've never heard of that, but I ain't been to Washington a lot though. Steve, glad to have you from California. Uh, 3 9's fine. Glad to have you, buddy. Well, thank you, Hector. I'm glad that you like the stories that we bring and you enjoy the channel. KHR 797. Glad to have you. Good evening to you too. Brett. Hey, how you doing, bud? JC, all the way from Arizona. Glad to have you. Alejandra Vega, glad to have you too. From New York. Diane Battle, glad to have you on here tonight. MKY9, glad to have you too from Detroit. Hickok, how you been doing, brother? My fellow West Virginian. Jamie Dillo, you're from Kansas. Glad to have you from all the way out in Kansas. Diane, you're from Mims, Florida. You heard any Bigfoot? You heard of swamp apes? That's what they call them, I guess, or swamp booger, or whatever you want to call them. Skunk apes, yeah. Honey, anytime you want to talk or speak up, go right ahead.
Okay.
She's my corrector. David from East Tennessee, glad to have you. Nicole White, you're from Paducah. I've been to Paducah quite a few times. There's a power plant just across the river from you guys we usually go to deliver carbon for my job. Roxanne, her question is, how many types of Bigfoot creatures do you think are out there? Well, from what I've seen and what I know, and other people that I've spoken to, uh, I would have to say there's probably about five different types. Darcy, glad to have you. Karen, it's good to see you too. Susan from Bloomfield, Kentucky, glad to have you tonight. Post Silly, you're from Howell, Texas, and you have a question. Do you think that you will be visited tonight? Well, I hope not. There was a commotion that went on here not too long ago at the house, and evidently they decided to cross my yard. Don't like it when they do that, but if they do it tonight, I'll take care of that situation. Right, Diane. You made a statement of I don't trust them. No how, no way. I don't either. Hey, we got the Squatching Cowboy on tonight, guys. Did y'all go and check his channel out? He does a wonderful job. I spoke with him today, and I'm gonna have him on an interview here soon. Uh, we're trying to work out some details. With me not working, I got all the time that he needs. But right now, we're just trying to get it worked out with his schedule. Kathleen from Greenville, Kentucky, glad to have you. James, no, not all wives correct their husbands. My wife doesn't correct me unless I really screw up. And then usually it's a smack in the back of the head. So if you see her smack in the back of the head, it ain't hurting me. Linda's got a question. Do you recommend feeding them? Honey, won't you answer that one?
The answer is no. Let them find their own food, or they will come back and expect it.
Um, Hector, you asked a question about what does my wife think about Bigfoot. Honey, why don't you go ahead and tell them what you've seen and heard, not only here at the house, but also out the place we do a lot of investigations with our other investigator that goes with us, our brother in Christ. And why don't you tell them what you've seen and heard?
Well, my first experience, shall I say, I was leaving early one morning to go get us some breakfast. And I walked halfway down our sidewalk, and everything was really, really quiet. And then I heard this loud, well, it seemed to be loud enough for me to hear, uh, like a roar, like a howl from a Bigfoot. And I stood there and I thought, did I just hear that? And then it howled again. It was like 3 times it howled. It wasn't a very long howl, but it was enough for me to walk back inside and look at old Bear and say, I think I just heard a Bigfoot outside. Our friend's place, very heavily wooded area, nobody hardly around him. Yeah, we hear all kinds of stuff out there. We hear grunts. I heard a huff. And I was looking straight at, old Bear and our friend. So now I know neither one of them made it, but it was like a sound. And didn't seem like it was too far away from us. And we heard screams. We've seen all kinds of like tree breaks and tree structures and hides. And I have never seen a Bigfoot, or I mean, I don't think I have seen one, but I feel like they are real. Hope I don't see one, but who knows?
Um, all right, you said, oh my God, you have them at your house. You would be surprised where they are. Yeah, we have them around our house. There's a healthy population of coyotes here. There's a healthy population of deer. Two of their primary foods here in West Virginia. They don't have one bit care for people. That's why we usually don't have any activity unless it's late at night, except for the time when my wife heard that one scream. I've heard them whoop a couple of times during the day here, and but other than that, that's basically all they ever do. They come across their yard once in a while, and I did see one here at the house about 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, but other than that, we've not had any trouble out of them. As long as they keep the coyote population down, I don't have any problem with them. Coyotes seem to be hard on our kittens, and we don't like that too much. I'm going to start being hard on the coyotes because of that. Marlana, glad to have you from Michigan, honey. No, if I see them, we don't run. Running is a bad thing, James. You run from a Bigfoot, it triggers that predatory instinct in them, and they will chase you down and turn you into dinner. Don't ever run from them. You can slowly back away. Um, if they know that you're there, if they see you or look straight at you, you need to slowly back away. If you walk up on one that is feeding or something, don't run because that will trigger the instinct. You don't want to do that. That's not a good thing for you guys, for anybody to happen to them. Right. All right. A safe distance. That's the best way. The best way to see them. You don't want to see them at 20 feet like I have. It's not it's a moment when you can um, you question whether you're going to live or die when you get that close to them. Ruben Moran, what would you say to people that do not believe in them? I would tell them to come and go with me for a few hours uh, on a weekend. Uh, we will definitely do some howls and screams and get responses. And if that doesn't help them, then we'll try and go and invade their space, and we'll get them to the point where they believe in them. When they come up and start growling at you from 20, 30 yards away, and they start throwing rocks at you and stuff like that, they'll start believing them. Roxanne, you got a question. Have you heard of any sightings or stories out of New Mexico? Well, Roxanne, I've been on the phone all day today with a squatching cowboy and with some people that have been calling me about Bigfoot and asking questions. And the strange thing is, we do have an experience out of near Albuquerque, New Mexico. I think that's the right state. And you will not believe this one. This one is a little bit intense. Well, not actually a little bit, it's a lot intense. So you'll be hearing that story here soon, probably this weekend or next weekend. We'll have it coming out. Me and the wife are taking a little mini vacation, and I've got 3 stories that I'm going to do while I'm out. And we might even do an investigation on Friday night if I can talk. the better half into letting us do it. So I hope y'all enjoy it. Yeah, Lake Dweller, I'm only 10 minutes from Charleston, here in West Virginia. Glad to have you, Chopper One. That's right, Tyrone. They do eat humans. We are a food source. That's why I caution everybody when you go in the woods, uh, make sure you can get out before dark. Hopefully, an hour before dark, you're back at your vehicle and going down the road. Hi, Desert Barb. You're from Oregon. Hey, if I can get my eyes straightened up, I'm gonna be coming back to Oregon soon. Lori from PA. What part of PA there, Lori? Sorry, guys. It's a bad habit, I know. You're near Pittsburgh. Well, Lori, I hate to tell you, son, but you got Bigfoot up here next to Pittsburgh, too. High Desert Barb, you're in Central Oregon? No, I'm not going to be coming to Central Oregon. I'll be up in the northern part of Oregon, up probably near, oh, what is the name of that town we go to, babe? When I go to Oregon.
Does it start with
I don't remember. Anyway, I'm going to be coming to
Boardman.
Oregon. Boardman, Oregon, yeah. That's it. Bigfoot Mama from northwestern PA. Deanna Collette from Illinois. Stephen Moore from North Carolina. Right, Tyrone. Youngstown has a lot of Sasquatch around it. A lot of Bigfoot in Ohio. Right, D. Spence. Praying around your property, praying in the name of the Lord. Yes, ma'am, they will stay away because of the demonic sighting. Lord, if you're looking for them, uh, the only thing I can tell you is maybe you shouldn't be. Seeing one changes you. It changes your life. Stephen, thank you. We appreciate that comment. Love your show. Right, Parkway, they will follow you home if you start going in their area. Stephen Moore, you asked the question, do I think they are Nephilim? Yes. Once they were kicked out of society thousands of years ago, they become feral. Their hair grew longer on their bodies because they had long hair anyway. They covered their bodies just like Goliath and his four brothers. So once they were kicked out of society, they reverted to getting longer hair, and that's how we got Sasquatch. Linda, do you think they are North American primate? They're not a North American primate. They're part human. Part human, I say, not gorilla, not a monkey. They're not an ape. Sue Gray from Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you for the compliment. You enjoy our show. Thank you. Al Sparks out of Tennessee. Hey Al, do you live near Norris Lake? That's there in Tennessee. Right, Lori. The best thing to do is not go in the forest, and when you're in a forested area, not to try looking for them. They do take offense if you get too close, and they will follow you home. Tiffany, if you're having nightmares about Bigfoot hunt, it's because somehow, some way, they're near you when you're in bed, and they know when you're asleep. And the demonic side that helped create these creatures, because God didn't create them. He had nothing in the creation of these things. He didn't create them. I want to make that perfectly clear. God did not, in any way, shape, or form, have anything to do with the creation of these creatures. It was between the fallen angels, which are demons now, what we call demons, and human women. Uh, Therefore, that's where you get the huge size because of the fallen angels. And you also get the long hair all over their bodies, their immense size, immense weight, all because of the fallen angel, and women were tricked into having sexual relations with the fallen angels. Al Sparks, Dale Hollow Lake Birdstown. Hmm. Deanna, uh, Colette, you asked, do their faces really look human? Yes, they do, honey. That's a different type. That's what I consider to be type 3, the human faces. They are they are more human than the others, and they're more docile. But if they throw a temper tantrum, they get mad about something. Uh, the only thing I can say is it's not a pretty thing. The best thing is to not be in that area when they throw a tantrum. Do I give any thoughts on the difference between the six-digit like Goliath and the one killed in Afghanistan? Um, None of the Bigfoot prints that I've seen or handprints have six digits. I think they've reverted so much back to the animal side of their of themselves that they have bred the six digits out of them. Uh, and I thought the one that was killed in Afghanistan was a giant, not a Bigfoot. But I could be wrong. And if you send me an email, uh, there, Gene, about that, with a link to the video or story or wherever you heard it from, I'll sit down and listen to that gladly and send you my response via email. And the email to send it to is oldbearsden2019 at gmail.com. NKY9. Um, what do I think about the Mark Barton incident? I think Mark uh, was touched by their demonic side and the demons that were controlling that clan of Bigfoot. I think they put things in that man's head, and it's affected him greatly. Uh, I've watched many of their videos. Mark don't act like that. He is a good Christian man. He's under attack, and I think he needs every one of his brothers and sisters across this world to pray for him. Pray for God to intercede, for the good Lord to come down himself and kick those demons back to where they belong. Roxanne, you asked, do you think there are good ones that want to help people and learn about us? Uh, yeah, there are good ones out there that don't cause any trouble, don't cause any harm, but I think there are, it's starting to get to the point now where most of them are being controlled by the demonic side of them, and they're starting to harm more people. Hence the missing 411 from David Pilates. Um, pick up some of his books and you'll see that it's very strange to find someone's belongings 12, 15 miles away from where they disappeared. Now, how did they get there? They didn't walk. They never found footprints of them walking there. Bigfoot can use trees to not leave footprints. They know how to climb. They know how to swing from tree to tree. They know all that because they've been in the forest for a long time. And I want to give a little shout out to my very good friend, SoCal Forest Ninjas. How you doing tonight, buddy? Glad to see you here. Terry Bradley, that's a very good question. Do you feel the different types keep separate or do they intermix? And thank you for the compliment to the great channel. Um, they do intermix somewhat. Type 1, 2, and 3 will intermix uh, if they come into contact and they have males or females they need in another clan or something like that. They do intermix. Um, so uh, yes, they do. Now, type 4 and 5, what I call the Gugway is type 4, and what I call the type 5s are Genoskwa. Type 4s will eat humans willingly. Type 5s will eat humans and the other Bigfoot. They're pure meat eaters. They stink to high heaven. If you start smelling a really bad odor that smells like dead flesh, get out of there. They're trying to encircle you to eat you. Get out of there as quick as you can. Don't play games. Get away from there. Get to your vehicle and get out of the area completely. John, you're from Charleston? Glad to have you, buddy. Right, Linda, they like to watch kids. Kids are easy prey. If you start seeing signs of Bigfoot around your home and you got kids, do everything you can possibly do to keep them from coming in around your home. Keep them away from your kids. Your kids will start disappearing. You got to be very careful when it comes to that. Because if you don't, then that means that somebody is going to have to come in there and clean it up. And that means killing every one of them. You got to be careful when it comes to your kids, people. All right, guys. Y'all are not... when you ask questions, you got to put them in capital letters, so I can see them pretty good. I am, after all, just one eye. Karen, wait a minute here. Let me find that again. Hold on a minute, Karen. SoCal, my eye's starting to feel better. It's not burning and hurting like it was, and it's starting to move just a tiny bit more to the center. So hopefully here in a couple of weeks, maybe with the good Lord's help and His healing power, my eye will be back to normal. Karen Stemple asked a question. Can you explain the different types for us? Well, hold on a minute. Sorry, guys. I got a bad habit. But Karen, to answer your question, Type One looks more like a gorilla. They're big and immense, but they're very top heavy. They have a gorilla type nose, gorilla type features in their face. They try to stay away from human beings, but if confronted, they will attack. Type 2 looks more human, actually looks more like Cro-Magnon man, or what the scientists say is Cro-Magnon man. Type 3 is the human type. They have the human features, human nose, human cheekbones, human type eyes. They don't have the brow ridge. And if they do have a brow ridge, it's not very pronounced. It doesn't stick out and hang over their eyes. Not much more than what we do. Type 4 looks more like it's reverting to the non-human side, but they have sharp teeth. Um, they have stronger muscles in their faces because they eat meat a lot, and that's a type that you got to be wary of. They're not always looking to kill humans, but they will if given a decent chance to where they won't get harmed. They know what a gun is. All of them do. Uh, so they try not to, and they're usually 8, 9, 10 feet tall. Uh, all of them try not to get harmed, but except for type 5, which is Genosqua. What I call Genosqua is, and that's an Indian word for face eater. Well, they kill humans and they kill other Bigfoot. They're usually the biggest, tallest, and meanest and thickest bodied Bigfoot because they fight other Bigfoot to kill Bigfoot to eat them. Uh, they look demonic. They have a demonic face. Their nose can be human. It can be a gorilla. It can be in any mix of whatever they are. But their face emits. It brings you to fear. The few that I have seen of those is not a pretty thing. They're very scary to look at in the face. Looking through a scope at one once before, um, I had to move. I jerked away from the scope, and then went to look back at it, and it was standing there looking at me through the scope from well over 100 yards away. It knew I was there. They can pick up on you quickly, your smell. So that's why I tell ladies not to wear perfume. That's why I tell men not to wear cologne when they go out in the woods. You don't want them to find you from a mile or 2 miles away and smell that odor and know what you are. You want to be as inconspicuous as you possibly can while you're in the woods. If there's a chance of them being around or you've heard of someone disappearing, the best thing to do is not go in that area and not let them know that you're there if you do go in there. It's safer for y'all. Uh, my wife had to get on me here not too long ago. Remember when we was going to go look for those two, not too far from here, huh?
Yes.
And you told me not to go there, but we went anyways. Um, so I got in trouble. Deborah, you're from Virginia. Glad to have you. Gene, yeah, the ones over 10 feet tall, 10, 12, 13, 14 feet tall, they typically are the Genosqua. Like I said, they're big and huge. Don't go to Alaska because they got bigger ones than that in Alaska. Reports of 16, 18-foot tall Bigfoot are not that uncommon. Linda, do certain types tend to stay in certain states, or do you think they migrate? That's a real good question, Linda. I think they move around. When their food source goes down, they'll move around to get more food. They don't have any compunction whatsoever to pick up and just move somewhere else. If they don't have enough deer meat or whatever, they're eating on turkeys, coons, possums, skunks, everything that man can eat, they will eat. Um, if they start getting low on food or the winter's going to be real bad, they will move. Um, it doesn't bother them to move. Diane Battle, you said, why doesn't the government let people know about these things? Well, they don't let people know because the government would lose billions and trillions of dollars in taxation, and they would have to pay out trillions upon trillions of dollars in lawsuits from people that have disappeared because of these things. And the less we know about them, the less people know about Bigfoot, then they don't have to go back and explain what they are, how they got here, where they're from, and that would go against the evolution theory that has been thrown out there by scientists for years. We're not evolved. We were made. We were created. So that's why they don't talk about it. Brett, you've been blind in one eye for 39 years. You need to call me in case my eye doesn't fix itself. Alejandra, I know you want to know about living around them. It's terrible and scary knowing how dangerous they can be. No, it's not nerves of steel. God has a lot to do with it. He protects us. He watches over us because we're His children. Uh, they don't mess around too much around here because they understand that I will gladly die to keep my family safe. If that's what I'm called to do. If that means I have to go to war with them, then so be it. But I know I'm protected. And I don't worry about it because I know God loves me. He watches over me and He protects me from all the trouble in this world. Karen, yeah, it would not be a good thing if they figured out that they understand that they're bigger and stronger than us and faster. They know all that already, but they also know that they're being held back. Um, they know about God too. They know there is a God, and God takes and watches over each and every one of us. Yeah, John, if your son's in Alaska, he might come across one. Uh, Up around the pipeline in Alaska, um, there's an Alaskan triangle. And it seems that there are cryptids in there all over the place. Even near a major city like Anchorage, there have been reports of Bigfoot. No, Diane, I'm not saying uh, it's better to let people die or have their lives destroyed. No, it's not better. But the government doesn't care about your life. All the government cares about is money. Um, There are people in the government that are good, uh, and they care about the people that they work for, which is us, we the people. That means every person in the United States of America that is an American citizen. That's what that means. You were born here, you got nationalized here, or anything like that. That's what it means. um, Steve Smith, sorry, asked the question, what do you think about Todd Standing's evidence of Sasquatch? And hello from Tennessee. Well, hello back to you from West Virginia. What do I think about Todd Standing? My personal opinion is the man has reverted to faking stuff. He used to get evidence of Bigfoot, but in the last 5 or 10 years, um, he's making a lot of money off of Bigfoot from what he finds and what he shows of Bigfoot. Like the 5 or 6 masks that he showed on a video not too long ago. And yes, they were masks. That was not Bigfoot hair that you were looking at. It glistened in the sunlight. Therefore, it was synthetic. And if Todd Standing sees this, yes, sir, I'm calling you out on it. I know the difference between actual hair and actual synthetic hair. They were all fake. Gene, do I think the national parks are designated for them? Yeah. If you look at it and you go back into the old tellings of the North American tribes that were here before the English got here and the French and the Spaniards and all that, you will see that the national parks are areas that they designated for the Bigfoot that were here at the time. Larry, I've never had an encounter with a dog man. I don't want to, but if I do, I'm not taking any chances. John, your son's in Fairbanks. That's part of the Alaskan Triangle. Right, Diane. They know that there's a God, but they don't know Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was sent here for God's creation, God's children. That's why God. That's why Christ came, was to give us a way back to our Father and back to our Creator. Linda, I don't know about all that being in federal prison for 5 years, um, but if I have to ever kill one or many, um, then let the federal government come to me because I'll make sure that there's a way that it gets out. Right, Stephen. If they if they if people knew about Bigfoot, the tree huggers would interject themselves, and every national park would no longer be open to people to go into. Every state game land, uh, every public land would be, you couldn't hunt on it anymore. Right, SoCal. President Roosevelt definitely was an avid hunter and he had encounters. Al Sparks, you live 40 miles southwest of Daniel Boone National Forest. Don't go in the forest at night. Too many reports come out of there of people being attacked are more aggressive in that forest. I don't know why, but all I know is they are super aggressive in Daniel Boone National Forest. Yeah, the government at TFB. Yeah, the government. If they acknowledge them, they know what will happen. They understand that people would go crazy about this. They would go out and start hunting them down, and they also know that people would clamor about needing to have. Um, they would throw a fit, have major lawsuits filed on themselves. They understand all that. Denver. What is that noise? It happens to be the air conditioning. We tried to get it away from the air conditioning unit. We even turned it down so it wouldn't come on. But evidently it got warm in the house. Sorry. MKY9. What type of weapon will take down a Bigfoot? Um, Depending upon how well you can shoot a firearm, uh, how consistent you can hit a certain spot, depending on how you can handle the stress of seeing a Bigfoot, especially if they're charging you. Um, if you got nerves of steel, you can do it with 223 and a headshot. If you don't have nerves of steel, then it doesn't really make any difference what kind of gun you got. If you don't stop them by blowing arms off or legs off or hitting them in the head, then you ain't got a chance. Because hitting one in the chest, even with the biggest calibers around, or an elephant gun, ain't going to do enough damage in that amount of time that you need. Gene, you said, Bear, appreciate your time. Since you're calling out things, do you believe more happened at Bluff Creek? Yes, I do. I do believe that there was a a different group that was in there, and that's why Patterson and Gimlin got the video of Patty. Um, was because they were trying to get away from the other group that was hunting them down because of the timbering company. I believe that wholeheartedly. Karen asked, would bear spray work on a Bigfoot? Or just make it matter? Well, that would be something that they would probably take away from you after they killed you, after you sprayed one, and use it as a what word am I looking for, Dave? You know, the stuff you do when you cook to make stuff taste better. What is that called? Yeah, they use it as a spice. See, that's why I have it. Right, Linda. People will jump out of their cars when they see a black bear cub. Um, yeah, it wouldn't be a good thing if they see a Bigfoot. I don't think most people jump out of their cars at it. Parkway, yeah, in some people's thoughts that could be deemed as killing a Bigfoot or murder. If you killed the Bigfoot in some people's thoughts, but you got to remember they're more animal and they're more demonic than they are human. They're 2/3 demonic and animal. They reverted back to that from being in society so long ago. Right, Paul. A slug to the head from a 12 gauge, 3.5 inch magnum slug would be best. to use on a Bigfoot if you're not a very good shot. Right, SoCal. Never run from these things. If you run, you're dinner. And that's as simple as I can put it. Running is death. Standing your standing your ground makes them give you respect. Shows that you're not afraid of it. You might be shaking in your boots. You might wet yourself down your leg and into your boots, but don't run. Running's not a good thing. And from my personal experience, running is the worst thing you can do. Right, Stephen, I understand. Try to tell your legs that. Well, your legs have to listen to your brain. You got to keep your brain engaged. You can't be flight all your life. You got to stand your ground, bud. If you don't, with these things, you're dinner. Right, TFB. If you stand, you got to stand your ground, and you don't want to look directly into their eyes because that's a sign of aggression to animals. If you stand your ground and look at their mouth or their nose, don't look directly into their eyes. Um, they will give you respect because that's how they earn respect from each other. If they stand upright, straighten themselves up to look bigger, then that's a sign of aggression. If you do the same, that shows them that you're not afraid of them. And if you got a cell phone on you, hold it like a gun in your hand. They respect firearms. It's hard to judge when you go to sit back down. Anybody got any more questions? Hello, Carla. Anybody got any questions for my wife, or would like to say, ask a question of my wife? She did do the singing on that video I did on Easter. She is a pretty good singer. Given my opinion or my wife's opinion, Gene? You asked, given your opinion, what's the best footage captured? I would have to say the best footage is Patterson Gimlin film. I mean, you can clearly see this Bigfoot. You can see the movements that it makes. You can see that it don't lock its legs anytime it steps because of its weight and size. Uh, you can tell a lot of detail about it. You can see the muscles move. That is the best film, the best footage that has ever been captured of Bigfoot. There's been other Bigfoot captured, but you don't get to see a lot of detail. They were really close to that Bigfoot when they saw it. Most people nowadays don't see him but close to 100 yards away. So therefore the footage ain't very good. Well, honey, Squatching Cowboy. Yeah, I've been to Texas quite a few times. Um, I've been to Dallas. I've been to Fort Worth, um, Hallsville, Texas. Quite a few times to Hallsville. We deliver carbon down that way. We go into Louisiana, Oklahoma with it. So yes, I've been down to Texas quite a few times in your area, buddy. Diane wants to know of you. She says, how does she always look so beautiful? And can she sing like an angel? Um, Well, I'll leave that to my wife. So y'all hold up on the questions and let her speak her mind on that subject. Go ahead, babe.
What about?
She wanted to know how you always look so beautiful.
Because I'm a happy lady and I love my husband and I love the Lord.
And she wanted to know if you can sing like an angel. Go ahead. Let, 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 uh, let's have you sing just a verse of Amazing Grace. How about the first one?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I hope that answers your question about the wife singing. And in my opinion, um, she definitely sounds like an angel to me. And I dare to say that some of the angels stand up and take notice when that little woman right there sings. Um, Larry Nelson asked, "What's your most terrifying experience?" Um, I've not told anyone this. I ran into some Janosqua in Ohio. Uh, it wasn't a pretty situation. It wasn't a good situation. These things were killing these families' cattle, their sheep. They killed all their pets. They had 5 or 6 dogs. All of them turned up missing. They would find their heads, and that was all they would find of the dogs. Now, these weren't little dogs. These were big dogs, 100-plus-pound dogs, and they were finding their heads. Um, had a run-in with those Bigfoot. Let's just say this about that situation. I expended all the ammo I had with me, and got back to my truck. Um, I helped the family out. They no longer had any problem, and we'll leave it at that. It wasn't a good time. TFV says, "Mrs. Bear, love your voice." And he wanted to know how you felt after your first revelation of these creatures.
First of all, thank you and God bless you. Second of all, I was like, man, these things are real. Because it sounded just like sounds I had heard on the YouTube videos, different videos that had them, the howls and screams and things. Yeah, it's amazing. It was amazing. It left me in awe.
Well, let's go to another question. Linda, do all of them have the cone-shaped heads? No, not all. The Type 3 doesn't. They don't have that pronounced cone on their head. Type 1 and 2 do. Type 3 does not. Type 4 doesn't have very much of a cone, nor does Type 5. And Eugene Springer, you said, "Howdy, Bear, you recommend I get a 300 Win Mag. Which handgun do you recommend as a backup?" The biggest handgun that you can handle and accurately shoot. I would recommend a 460, a 454 Casull, or the 500 Smith. I carry a 40. I've shot all those other ones, and I shoot them fairly well. But I shoot the 40 caliber that I have accurately. Um, and I'm going to make some improvements on that handgun to where I shoot a lot better. But any handgun that you can shoot accurately, But don't be shooting at them at 40, 50, 60 yards. It's going to feel like a bee sting to them. And don't shoot for the chest and the stomach. Bad idea. Head is your best shot. Kill the brain, you kill the body. They work just like we do. Um, so whatever you can handle properly, uh, anything less than a 9 millimeter or a 40 caliber, I would not recommend. If you can shoot it and you have a lot of ammunition for it with you, you're good. Because when you see one, there's one or two that are watching. And Deborah said you have a beautiful voice, honey.
God bless you, Deborah. Thank you.
And Sue Gray said, Mrs. Bear, my husband and I loved your song on Easter.
Aww. I love singing for the Lord, guys.
And Gene said the Easter video is his favorite.
Aww.
Diane said, thank you, Mama Bear, just like an angel.
Aww. Bless them.
Steve Bobo, old Bear, do you think the government is actively hunting them down and killing them on an ongoing basis, or just when they kill a human being at a particular location? Steve, the government hunts these things down because most of the ones that they can tag, they've tagged. They're GPS located now. When they attack people, they go in and kill them. Yes, they do. I know a lot more on that subject. Steve, if you ever want the complete answer to that, or anybody else, my phone number is on the channel. Call me sometime and ask me about it then. My phone is secured, so you don't have to worry about it. And I'll give you the full answer then. Sue Grace said beautiful. Talking about your voice, babe.
Thank you, Sue. God bless you.
D. Spence says beautiful voice. Thank you.
Thank you. And God bless.
Detroit Daniel said thank you. Sounds wonderful.
God bless you.
Ruben Moran give you compliments. Great voice.
Aww. Give all the glory to God.
Diane wants to know what you think about these creatures. How do you feel about them? Do you think that they're Nephilim? Do you believe that they are an American ape or anything of that nature?
I think they're Nephilim because I mean, yes, they can probably, some of them can probably appear not to be aggressive, but I would think that they could probably cover it up real well if they were demonic. Lead you to believe, oh, I'm your friend. But I just don't want to run into one.
Well, I'll say this, guys and gals out there, brothers and sisters, if my wife goes with me on an investigation, or she goes with me out to go do a little squatching like we did here not too long ago, and we gave you all a video of it, I do everything in my power to keep her safe. I don't let her get out of my sight, and I am always heavily armed. I've got a handgun on my hip. I've got 3 or 4 clips for it. I have usually an AR across my front. I've got 2 or 3 clips that I can easily drop one, grab one, sling it back in, and start blasting away again if I have to. I don't want to get to that point, but if it starts getting where it's getting scary to her, or if she thinks we need to leave, I listen to my wife. So, guys, if you go out in the woods with your better halves, whether you're male or female, it doesn't make any difference. Watch your partner. God gave you that person for a reason. That's your life partner. Um, and this one is mine. And I thank the Lord every day for it. So I listen to her because God tells me to, and because God wants her safe. And I do respect her opinion, and she's more in tune with her feelings than I am. Over the years, I've had to learn to shut mine off. But when it comes to her, I don't take any chances. None. If she tells me we need to go, we go. I don't hesitate. That means I have to pick her up and carry her back to the truck and throw her in the seat and run around the front of the truck and jump in. And in the process, be shooting the whole time whenever I'm carrying her back to the truck. That's what I'll do. Um, my job is to protect her, and I'm going to do that to the best of my human abilities. Uh, so that's all I can say about that. Uh, Karen wanted to know, she said, wonderful voice. How have your lives changed because of these things? You want that one?
I just feel like if you trust in God, He's gonna protect you. It's easier to just, yeah, you just need to trust in the Lord on everything. And
There's
if
your
you
answer.
rebuke them in Jesus' name,
Mm-hmm.
they gotta flee.
Um, Gene, you said that rumor has it that their heart is under their armpit. Well, that rumor is a lie. They're created just like every other creature in this world. Uh, Angels can't change their body makeup because of the human side in them. So uh, I say that whoever told you that rumor was pulling your leg. And that's my personal opinion. And Diane wants to know, how would you tag them? Well, if anybody out there is a dog use on your hounds when they would be away off from you, especially a bear hunter, a bear chase will be, it might take you 10, 12, 15 miles on a bear chase before the dogs can get the bear to go up into a tree when the bear gets tired. Um, so you have these collars that we used to use, and they were telemetry collars. Now you had a little thing that had an antenna on it. It was connected to a box by a cable, and wherever that beep was the direction you had to go. That's the old style. Nowadays, you got these little things called GPS units through Garmin and all those. You download the state's topo map or the area you're going to be hunting in, and it's GPS signal. So they have the ones that are already tagged. The government has two different sets of ways of finding them. They have better equipment than we do as hunters, but they tag them with the best equipment they got at that time. And they know exactly within a few feet of where these things are. The old style, you knew within about 10 to 20 yards, but they know how to use them. They know how to boost the signals for them and everything. Let's see here. How does Barb says, beautiful voice, honey.
Thank you.
And Stephen Moore says we have a godly marriage. Yes, we do, because we put God first. Um, my personal opinion is God is first and foremost in my life. My wife knows this. My wife is second. Every one of our grandchildren are third. We have five of them.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids come in fourth. Um, but a lot of times that gets kind of mixed up. Most of the time it ends up being God, then our grandchildren, then our children, and then my wife, and then me. Me, I don't have any concerns of where I'm going. So my life to me is forfeit if it means saving one of them. Um, but that's what God has given me. He's given me the strength to accept that and to not be afraid. Um, I don't run from any man nor beast. I don't run from demons. You want to attack me? I got somebody that'll deal with you. And that's the way I look at it. Because God's always with me. He has always protected me. And he watches over me. He watches over my family. And I thank him every day for that. Larry Nelson said he likes my classification of them. Is this yours? Yes. Is this documented somewhere? I have it documented in my book of stories that I have over the years of Bigfoot, and I think I'm going to start opening up the older sections of my book of stories that I have that have affected me in my life when it comes to Bigfoot. It's not been a pretty picture, and I'll tell you now, a lot of them you're not going to be able to understand. Uh, Simply because back when I was younger, I wasn't under Christ's protection. Uh, he watched over me because from the day you're born until the day you take your last breath, you're still God's child. Whether you believe him or not, you're still his child. He still looks over you and still watches out for you. He just wants you to come to him and ask him for your forgiveness, for his forgiveness and his grace. And that's the biggest thing that I can tell anyone about God. He loves you no matter what you do. He can forgive you for everything in this world that we possibly do, except for one, and it's not accepting Jesus Christ. Yes, the minister's coming out in me, guys. I know some of you may not like that, but that's just the way it is. Um, Karen, making a video of her singing, you're not going to get her to do that. It's been a 2-year process of trying to get somebody, this one back here, of getting 10 songs picked out to put them on a CD. I'd love to do that, to give it to y'all. And no, I'm not going to charge you for it because God provides. If we did the CD tomorrow and you asked for one, you'd get it. I'd send it to you. Carl Hansen, what are my thoughts on Dogman? I think that Dogman is an abomination unto God. Um, you hear people talk about that, they Dogmen have helped people and the werewolves and all that stuff. In a very small percentage of them, I'd say probably 3 to 4%, they help people. The other 96 to 97% are detrimental to people. That means that they will kill you, they will eat you, they will cause you harm in some way, shape, or form. Stay away from them. That's my opinion on dog meat. SoCal had a comment to Roxanne. No need to be scared. Just respect the woods and wildlife. They will pick up on that. Yes, they do. If you see one, talk to him or her just like you talk to an old friend. That's good advice, sound advice. You ought to heed that. Janice, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. And what you said, Janice, is correct. Without God first in your life, it's not really much of a life. It's not a fulfilled life. It's not fulfilling enough for you. That's why so many marriages fail. That's why so many families break up. That's why so many kids nowadays are out doing the things that they're doing, robbing people, beating people up, killing people. It's because God was taken out of the schools, God was taken out of the homes, and we are at fault for that. The children of God are completely at fault for it. It's our fault, not the kids' fault. It's us grown-ups. Um, and I'm part of the problem. Before I knew Christ, I didn't think about it. Uh, but now that I do, I make sure every one of my grandchildren understand and know that God loves them more than their grandpa could ever love them, more than their mom and daddy could ever love them. Every one of our grandchildren, our granddaughter, who is 12 going on 25, uh, she knows and understands God. Our grandson that's 10, he understands and knows about God. And we've got three younger ones. One that is what?
Wow, he's 6.
We have a 6-year-old and two 1-year-olds. And when they get a little bit older, Grandpa's going to take his and do his part and let them know that God loves them. Gene wants to know if he can request a song. If you're going to do a 10-song CD list, and he wants to know if you can sing Power in the Blood.
Probably. I'll just have to get the words.
Okay. There you go. Larry Nelson, thank you for the compliment. I try to be the best that I can be. Um, I try not to let God down as much as I possibly can. I know I'm fallible, and but I know He forgives me and He loves me. So that's why I try to do what I can, the best I can be. That's why I do this channel. That's why we are going live tonight to answer questions that you guys have and get them answered for you. Diane, I'm glad to hear that. You're learning more than you knew. That's why I've done this live show tonight, and that's that's why we do it. Is to help people. We need more people that will be willing to help people in this world. And through God, I'm going to do all I can do. Even if this eye never recovers, I don't care. I'm still going to do God's work. And that means not only preaching His word, that also means getting these stories out to y'all about these creatures that are in the woods and close to houses and close to suburbs, and they're close to cities. They even venture into your cities. New York City, Los Angeles, San Diego, um, Portland, Oregon, Spokane, Washington, Phoenix, Arizona. You name a big city, and I can tell you that there is a Bigfoot story close to you. Some of them are in the outskirts. They don't go into the heart of the cities. They go in the outskirts where people live. And if they're there, they're scavenging for food. That means they're hungry. That means that your life is forfeit if you run into one. So Be careful where you go at night. If you see one at night and it runs off, go the other way.
Don't chase
What she just said,
it.
don't
Don't
chase
chase
it.
it.
Um, Roxanne, you probably asked the toughest question all night. What are your thoughts on Steve Isdall and what he's doing? We don't worry about spelling here, hon. I'm from West Virginia. Come on. We're not known to be the greatest spellers in the world. Um, Roxanne, I think Steve is doing it the right way. He's networking with other people. He's talking to David Pilates. He's talking to Scott Carpenter and other people that are in the Bigfoot community. He's reached out to people that I know and talked to them at great length about this. He's seen them multiple times, and he's doing it the right way. And he's to the point now where he doesn't care if the government says something to him. He don't care what your thoughts are. He's telling you the plain and simple truth. What I try to do. Yes, he brings stories of people that don't have bad interactions with these things. But I'm bringing you the ones that have bad interactions. You know, you're getting both sides of the coin from two different people. And I find that to be a great thing. I applaud any Bigfooter out there that does stories on Bigfoot and shows the truth. And if you get a story and you're a YouTuber and you get a Bigfoot story and you add to it and take away from it to make it sound better, wrong. Don't do that. Leave it like it is. Read it the way it is. And because there might be things in there that people pick up on that might save their life. And saving a human life is the utmost thing that you want to do. If I have to give my life to save someone, that's because, because I love humans. I love humanity. I love people. If I have to give my life for them to protect them from harm, then so be it. I know where I'm going. That's all I ever need to hear. So, yeah, if you, yeah, it sounds like we got company. Sounds like coyotes are starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, coyotes are starting. Can y'all hear them? Let me know if y'all can hear the coyotes.
There's a dog in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The coyotes over here.
Y'all can hear the coyotes yipping at a distance. They're only about 200 yards from our house. And those are actual coyotes. That ain't Bigfoot trying to sound like one. At least not yet. That usually don't happen until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning around here. Gene, that's not surprising from you two. Glad to have you, West Virginia country girl. And Paul, yeah, we're overrun with them too, buddy. I'm going to have to start thinning the herd. Don't want to, but I'm going to have to. Anyway, guys, we've been here for an hour and a half now. And I appreciate everybody coming. And I hope everybody learned something tonight. And you get to see my wife. Not very often, but this time you get to see her. And you got her to sing. And that's a blessing every time that woman opens her mouth and starts singing about the Lord. So thank you all for coming. And we're going to cut the live feed. And I hope you all have a blessed night and that you have no fears and no problems with any of these creatures that are out here or any of the demons that may attack you. I hope God gives you a night of graceful rest, and we thank you for coming. And this will end our live feed for tonight, and we might start doing a few more of these once a month, twice a month, something like that. Thank you all for coming, and God bless each and every one of you.
God bless.
Bye bye,
We love
guys.
you guys.